Super Bowl Sunday, we headed north very early in search of new birds. After all, the channel is called All New Birds. There were a few birds in northern Minnesota that I've never had the chance to photograph, and today was the day. Our first target was the three-toed woodpecker. We drove slowly north of Two Harbors just in case we would see a great gray owl. Nope. We also drove slowly because we didn't want to arrive while it was still dark. It's hard to identify a black woodpecker in a burnt forest in the dark. We heard drumming upon arrival, but after not seeing the woodpecker for an hour, we decided to head north to Greenwood Lake for a chance encounter with an American goshawk. We settled for a chance encounter with the blue jay. We returned to the three-toed spot and waited another half hour. We had given up and headed south when we found some other people watching a black-backed woodpecker about a mile down the road. Suddenly, the three-toed appeared. Unlike the blackback, the three-toed has some white barring on the back and more white on the head. We weren't getting great views when a Canada jay showed up, seemingly with the sole purpose of distracting us. Perched on a tree in the ditch, and then it would fly right to me and almost land on my head. After it repeated this behavior many times, I finally broke down and gave it a potato chip so it would move on. Now the three-toed had moved to the very base of a tree and was still a ways away, but this was the best look we got at this female before it flew away. Even though we didn't get great shots, we were excited to have even seen this rare bird since we had already given up on it. The blackback woodpecker, which is much less inconspicuous, gave us great looks, showing off his all-black back. Last May, the Campos fire burned about 12,000 acres near Brimson, Minnesota. Only woodpeckers with three toes were happy about this. Well, actually, first beetles were happy about it. Some wood-boring beetles can detect smoke and infrared radiation from fires miles away. The fire drives away predators and allows them to mate and lay eggs in the nutrient-rich burnt wood, which doesn't have the chemical defenses against their larvae like living trees do. Then the blackback woodpeckers move in. Their camouflage against the black tree helps them blend in. This one with the yellow spot on his forehead is a male. The blackback also has three toes. Normally, woodpeckers have two toes facing forward and two backwards. Having three toes allows it to lean further back and drum even harder than other woodpeckers. This gives them a more booming, resonant sound. Like most woodpeckers, their tongue wraps all the way around their skull and anchors near their eye socket, acting as a shock absorber. Their drum is a little slower than the hairy woodpecker and lasts a little longer. It comes in at about 16 beats per second and lasts up to 2 seconds. Besides drilling holes and slurping larvae, they also flake bark. They always close their third eyelid a millisecond before drumming as a safety goggle. We spotted a few pine grosbeaks as we headed back to Two Harbors. We found a parking spot directly in front of the feeders at Betty's Pies and waited for the boreal chickadee. We heard it had been making regular appearances, so I set a timer for 30 minutes. We watched the feeders closely while many people arrived for pie, but all the chickadees had black caps. When 30 minutes passed, I decided to make one last walk around the parking lot. When I returned to the car, Lucas was photographing this boreal who had finally arrived. This was the second new bird of the day that came in after we had technically given up. We made a quick check of the Knife River Road for Bohemians eating the berries, but sadly there were none. Well, there were berries, but no birds. Next, we headed to Canal Park for some open water and a couple of rare waterfowls. There was a large flock of common goldeneyes continuously diving. We knew one of them was a Barrows goldeneye. We had seen a Barrows before out west. The white dot on the face should be teardrop-shaped instead of round. It wasn't long before we spotted the odd duck. Goldeneye often dive up to 1,000 times a day, usually staying under for about 30 seconds. The canal here is 27 feet deep to accommodate Great Lakes vessels. The goldeneye would prefer to feed in shallower water, but this is what is open. The constant diving made staying on the special duck a challenge. Speaking of special, Canal Park is also home to many special pigeons and one harlequin duck. This male has decided to winter here with the goldeneye. We have also seen these ducks out west in more turbulent waters. They are extraordinary swimmers, but I wasn't impressed with this guy swimming. We crossed the lift bridge on foot 5 times because he kept heading to the opposite side of the canal as us. We were struggling to get a sharp photo. Finally, when it got by the wall and we were going to get a great picture, a stupid hen mallard flew right at it and dive-bombed it, scaring the duck out toward the ice. After a patriotic moment with some bald eagles, we said goodbye to Canal Park and headed to the much worse-smelling West Lake Superior Sanitation District. This place was loaded with starlings and seagulls. We added the very similar-looking herring and Iceland gulls, as well as this gigantic all-white glaucous gull. There was also a tree full of bald eagles. Next, we crossed the bridge to Wisconsin and found a snowy owl at the Superior Airport. There are actually a couple of owls wintering here. This female must spend her days in the snowbank since she is surrounded by her pellets. Suddenly, there was a post of Bohemian Waxwings north of Duluth. We immediately jumped in the car and started heading that way. Bohemian means wanderer. They form large wandering flocks in winter looking for berries. Rice Lake is about a 30-minute drive from Superior, and the post was already an hour and a half old when we noticed it. So we couldn't help wondering, would the flock still be hanging out in the same spot, or would it have wandered? Somehow we didn't see them at first, so we thought we would drive around the neighborhood. However, when we turned the car around, we noticed a flock of 80 to 100 high in the trees, right where they were supposed to be. After waiting a few minutes, they started coming down to feed on berries. They feed in a frenzy, landing on tiny branches and hanging upside down. Some of the birds went to the ground to get mouthfuls of snow. I wonder if the berries tasted like burning. I'm guessing they were just parched. This was the third bird of the day that we had already resolved to not see, and then were blessed with a surprise appearance. I've had Bohemians on my list of birds I wanted to photograph for a couple of years now, but never had the chance. When they weren't in two harbors, Lucas really wanted to go to Grand Marais to catch them. Fortunately, we saved ourselves a few hours driving by finding them in Duluth. They are larger and more gray than cedar waxwings. The underside of their tail is rust-colored, where the cedar waxwing is white. And of course, the bold white and yellow patches on their wings make them pop like a painting. Because they were moving so quickly and in such thick branches, it was easier to get photos than video. But I spent most of the time just watching them with the binoculars while Lucas worked the camera. Occasionally, a loud car would send them back to the top of the trees, but then they would return to feeding. Since our stop at the Superior Airport was cut short, we returned to find the snowy owl now perched on a light post across the road. We wanted to stay and watch her hunt, but we also wanted to catch the second half of the Super Bowl. Waiting for a snowy owl to hunt is like waiting for your offense to move the ball against the Seahawks. It might not happen. As we were leaving, we did capture some awkward photos of her coughing up a pellet. Not every part of birding is beauty and grace. But if you can add 9 new birds in February in Minnesota, you had a pretty good day. See you next time.